Hello, and welcome to Podcast for English. My name is Linda. I'm really happy you are here today. This channel is for people who want to learn English in a simple and natural way. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to speak fast. You don't need to understand every word. You only need to listen. You can listen while you rest. You can listen while you work. You can listen while you live your daily life. Take a deep breath, relax your body, clear your mind. Now, let's begin today's English lesson together. In today's podcast, we are talking about repeating words, repeating sentences, repeating listening, and why repeating is not a waste of time. Many English learners feel uncomfortable when they repeat. They think, I already heard this. I already studied this. I should move on. They believe repeating means they are slow. They believe repeating means they are not smart enough. But this belief is incorrect. Today's topic is simple. Repeating is not a waste of time. It is how learning actually happens. This podcast is here to change how you see repetition. Repeating is not going backward. It is going deeper. When you repeat, you are not starting again. You are continuing from a stronger place. This episode is for you if you feel bored when content feels familiar. It is for you if you feel guilty for listening to the same thing again. It is for you if you think real learning should feel new all the time. Learning does not work that way. The brain learns through familiarity. It needs to hear things more than once, more than twice, often, many times. Repeating gives the brain time to notice details. The first time, you notice sound. The second time, you notice meaning. The third time, you notice structure. Each repetition adds a layer. Nothing is wasted. In this podcast, we will talk about why repetition strengthens memory, why repetition builds confidence, and why repetition is a sign of serious learning. You do not need to rush forward. You do not need to escape repetition. You need to understand it. As you listen, do not worry if things feel familiar. Familiarity is progress. Repeating is not a waste of time. It is time well spent. The brain needs repetition to learn, not once, not twice, many times. Many learners believe the brain learns fast. They think, if I hear it once, I should remember it. But the brain does not work like that. The brain learns through familiarity. It learns when something feels known. The first time you hear English, the brain is busy. It is listening to sound. It is noticing rhythm. It is trying to understand. There is a lot happening, so very little stays. This is normal. The second time you hear it, the brain feels calmer. The sound is not new. The rhythm feels familiar. Now the brain has space to notice meaning. This is progress. The third time, the brain goes deeper. It notices how words connect, how sentences move, how ideas flow. This does not happen without repetition. Repetition reduces effort. Each time you repeat, the brain works less hard. Less effort means less stress. Less stress means better learning. Another reason the brain needs repetition is memory. Memory does not form in one moment. It forms through strengthening. Each repetition strengthens the connection. Like walking on the same path again. The path becomes clearer. Repetition also gives the brain time to adjust. Sometimes you hear something, but it does not make sense yet. Later, after more repetition, it suddenly becomes clear. Not because you studied more, but because the brain was ready. Repetition respects timing. The brain learns when it is ready, not when you demand it. Repetition also builds safety. When the brain hears familiar English, it relaxes. Relaxed brains learn better. This is very important because learning does not happen in fear. It happens in safety. Many learners think repetition is boring, but boredom is often a sign that learning is deepening. When something feels boring, it means the brain is no longer struggling. It is settling. Settling is learning. Repetition is not doing the same thing again and again without change. Each repetition changes how you hear, changes how you feel, changes how you understand. Nothing is wasted. Repetition is how the brain builds real learning, and real learning lasts. Many learners think repetition creates boredom. They think, if I repeat, I am not learning. But repetition does not create boredom. Repetition creates depth. Boredom often appears when learning becomes easier, and easier does not mean useless. It means the brain is familiar. Familiarity is the door to understanding. The first time you listen, everything feels new. Your brain works hard. The second time, things feel lighter. The third time, things feel clearer. This clarity is not boredom. It is understanding. Repetition allows the brain to move deeper. At first, you notice sound. Later, you notice meaning. Later, you notice how ideas connect. This depth cannot happen in one listening. Understanding is not a moment. It is a process. Repetition slows the process down so the brain can follow. When you repeat, you stop chasing new content. You give the brain time to explore. Exploration builds insight. Insight builds understanding. Many learners confuse excitement with progress. New content feels exciting, but excitement does not last. Understanding lasts. Repetition may feel calm. It may feel quiet. But quiet learning is powerful learning. Repetition also changes how you listen. You stop listening for survival. You stop worrying about missing words. You listen with more space. In this space, details appear. Small details. Important details. These details were invisible before, not because they were not there, but because the brain was too busy. Repetition gives the brain room to see. Boredom often comes from expectation. You expect learning to always feel difficult. When it feels easier, you think something is wrong. But ease is a sign of growth. Children repeat stories again and again. They are not bored. They are learning. They notice new things each time. Adults learn the same way. Repetition does not stop progress. It prepares the mind for the next level. Depth comes before speed. Understanding comes before fluency. Repetition is how understanding becomes stable. And stable understanding is what makes English feel natural. So, when repetition feels boring, do not run away. Pause. That feeling often means learning is happening at a deeper level. Repetition builds long-term memory, not short memory, not test memory, real memory. Many learners remember English for a short time. They listen once. They understand. Then they forget. This is common. It does not mean you are bad at learning. It means the brain needs repetition. Memory is not created in one moment, it is created through strengthening. Each time you repeat, the brain sends a signal. This is important. Keep this. The first time, the signal is weak. The second time, it is stronger. The third time, it becomes stable. This is how memory grows. Repetition also uses spacing. You hear something today, you hear it again tomorrow, you hear it again later. This spacing is powerful. It tells the brain that the information matters over time. Without spacing, memory fades. Repetition also helps memory during rest. When you sleep, the brain organizes information. If you repeat before rest, the brain has material to organize. This makes memory last longer. Fast learning often ignores this process. You move on too quickly. The brain does not have time to store anything deeply. Repetition respects how memory works. It allows forgetting and relearning. This cycle strengthens memory. Another reason repetition builds memory is emotion. Familiar content feels safe. Safe learning creates calm emotion. Calm emotion helps memory stay. Stressful learning pushes memory away. Repetition reduces stress, and reduced stress supports memory. Repetition also builds meaningful memory. You do not remember words alone. You remember them inside sentences, inside stories, inside ideas. This meaning anchors memory. Anchored memory does not disappear easily. Over time, repetition changes effort. You remember without trying. You recognize without thinking. This automatic memory is the goal. Not remembering everything, but remembering what matters. Repetition is how memory moves from effort to ease. And memory that feels easy is memory that lasts. This is why repetition builds long-term memory. Nothing is wasted. Each repetition adds strength. Many learners think repetition creates frustration. They think, why am I still here? Why do I need to listen again? But repetition does not create frustration. Pressure creates frustration. Repetition actually builds confidence. Confidence comes from familiarity. When something feels familiar, the brain relaxes. A relaxed brain feels safe. Safety creates confidence. The first time you listen, you may feel lost. The second time, you feel less lost. The third time, you feel oriented. This change is important because confidence is not about being perfect. It is about feeling capable. Repetition helps you feel capable. You begin to think, I know this. I have heard this before. I can follow this. These small thoughts matter. They build inner trust. Frustration often comes from rushing. You expect progress to feel fast. When it does not, you feel impatient. Repetition removes this rush. It says, there is time. Time reduces pressure. Pressure creates frustration. Repetition also changes how you react to difficulty. Instead of panic, you feel curiosity. Instead of avoidance, you feel patience. This shift is confidence. Confidence also grows when effort feels lighter. Each repetition requires less energy. Less energy means less resistance. When learning feels easier, confidence grows naturally. Repetition also builds proof. Proof that you can stay. Proof that you can continue. Proof that you do not quit. This proof is powerful because confidence is built from experience, not motivation, Motivation comes and goes. Experience stays. Repetition gives you experience. Not dramatic experience, quiet experience. But quiet experience is strong. Over time, repetition changes your relationship with English. English stops feeling like an enemy. It feels familiar, friendly. And friendly things do not create fear. They create confidence. So, when repetition appears, do not fight it. It is not holding you back. It is holding you steady. And steady learning is confident learning. Repetition reduces fear. It also reduces hesitation. Fear often comes from the unknown. When something feels new, the brain becomes alert. It asks, is this safe? Can I handle this? This alert state creates tension. Tension creates fear. Repetition removes the unknown. When you hear the same English again, it no longer feels strange. The sound is familiar. The rhythm is familiar. The situation is familiar. Familiarity tells the brain, this is safe. When the brain feels safe, fear becomes smaller. Hesitation also changes. Hesitation happens when you are unsure. You pause. You stop. You wait. This waiting is not because you cannot speak. It is because you are not confident yet. Repetition builds that confidence. Each time you repeat, you recognize more, you feel more prepared. Prepared minds hesitate less. Repetition also reduces fear by lowering pressure. You are not trying to understand everything now. You know you will hear it again. This thought is calming. Calm minds learn better. Another reason repetition reduces fear is predictability. You know what is coming next. The brain likes prediction. Prediction creates comfort. Comfort reduces fear. Repetition also helps your body relax. Your breathing slows, your shoulders soften, your mind opens. A relaxed body supports learning. Fear tightens the body. Repetition loosens it. Over time, repetition changes your emotional reaction. Instead of anxiety, you feel neutrality. Instead of tension, you feel calm attention. This calm attention is powerful because it allows learning to continue without interruption. Fear often stops learning. Repetition keeps it moving. You stop reacting. You start listening. You stop hesitating. You start responding. This shift is not sudden. It happens quietly. But it happens because repetition creates safety. And safety is the foundation of real learning. That is why repetition reduces fear and hesitation, not by force, but by familiarity. Repetition creates natural understanding, not forced understanding, not memorized understanding, natural understanding. When you repeat, you stop thinking so hard. You stop analyzing every word. You stop checking every rule. You begin to feel the language. This feeling is important because language is not only logic, it is rhythm, it is flow, it is pattern. Repetition allows patterns to appear naturally. At first, you may not notice them, but the brain notices. It hears the same structure again. It hears the same expression again. It hears the same rhythm again. Each time, the pattern becomes clearer. This clarity does not feel dramatic. It feels normal, and normal is the goal. Repetition also changes how understanding appears. You do not suddenly say, now I understand. Instead, you realize something quietly. You understand without effort. You recognize without translating. You respond without planning. This is natural understanding. It comes from exposure, not explanation. Repetition provides exposure, again and again and again. Many learners think they must study rules to understand. Rules can help, but rules do not create fluency. Repetition does, because repetition builds intuition. Intuition is knowing without thinking. This knowing comes from experience. Repetition creates experience. Another reason repetition creates understanding is time. Understanding needs time to settle. When you repeat, you give the brain that time. You are not rushing forward. You are staying. Staying allows depth. Depth creates stability. Stable understanding does not disappear easily. It stays with you. This is why understanding from repetition feels calm. It does not feel fragile. You trust it because it grew slowly. When repetition creates understanding, learning feels lighter. You stop forcing meaning. Meaning arrives on its own. And when understanding arrives naturally, it lasts. Many learners think repeating wastes time. They think, I should move forward. I should learn something new. But repeating is not wasting time. It is saving time. When you rush forward, you often forget. You learn something new today. You forget it tomorrow. Then you come back. You relearn. You repeat anyway. This cycle feels fast, but it is inefficient. Repeating early prevents relearning later. It strengthens memory before it fades. Strong memory does not need repair. Weak memory does. Repeating saves time because it reduces confusion. When understanding is weak, you stop often. You check meanings. You translate. You feel lost. This takes time. Repeating builds clarity. Clear understanding moves faster than confused learning. Repeating also saves time because it builds automatic skill. When language becomes automatic, you do not stop to think. You listen faster. You respond faster. You understand faster. Automatic skills save time every day. Repeating also reduces emotional cost. Fear, stress, hesitation. These emotions slow learning. Repeating creates safety. Safe learning is efficient learning. You do not quit. You do not avoid. You continue. Continuing saves more time than starting over. Repeating also creates consistency. You stay with one piece of content. You explore it fully. You do not jump from one method to another. This focus saves time. Because focus builds depth, depth creates speed later. Many learners want fast results now, but real speed comes later. It comes after foundations are strong. Repeating builds those foundations. So repeating is not going backward. It is preparing forward. It is investing time so you do not lose it later. When you repeat, you are not stuck. You are consolidating. And consolidation is what makes progress last. Repeating does not slow you down. It removes obstacles. And when obstacles are removed, learning moves faster. Quietly, smoothly, efficiently. You've reached the end of today's episode. Before you leave, I want you to remember one simple thing. You did something good for yourself today. You listened. You stayed. You didn't give up. And that matters. Learning English is not about being fast. It is not about being perfect. It is about showing up again and again. Some days will feel easy. Some days will feel hard. Both are normal. Progress does not always feel exciting. Sometimes it feels quiet. Sometimes you don't notice it at all. But learning is still happening. Every minute you listen, your ears are learning new sounds. Your mind is learning new patterns. Your confidence is growing, even if you cannot see it yet. You don't need to push yourself. You don't need to compare yourself to others. You are on your own path, and your pace is enough. Let English be part of your daily life. Listen while you rest. Listen while you work. Listen while you live your normal day. If this episode helped you feel calmer, more focused, or more motivated, then your time here was well spent. Come back when you can. Come back when you need a quiet space to learn. My name is Linda, and this is Podcast for English. Thank you for learning with me. Until next time, keep going and never give up. Believe in yourself, because you are stronger than you think.